Welcome, beautiful buddies and gentlemen family. This is a very dark video we're going to record right here because we're going to expose the biggest scandal in football history. This is one of the most disgusting stuff I've seen as a football fan. With me being an Algerian, with me being an African, this means even more to me. This is personal. This is a message I have to put out. And I have to expose the disgusting stuff the Moroccan regime have done in the recent past years, and especially at this AFCON. And in today's video, we're going through every single reason why Morocco is the Israel of Africa. So, let's start off with the final that we recently all watched. Even before the final started, the Senegalese national team had posted a bunch of reasons they were really mad about the preparation for the final. Lack of security on arrival in Rabat, accommodation not up to standard, official complaint led to a new hotel. I think they got a 3-star hotel from Morocco in the beginning. They complained so much until they got that 5-star hotel. Refused to train a Moroccan technical center. Have not received feedback on training requests. Lack of tickets and access for Senegal fans. Have only 2 tickets VIP. State they bought tickets for fans but claim heavy restrictions from the CAF. This was even before the final started. Moroccan regime, I'm going to repeat that. This is not a video about the Moroccan people. This is a video about the Moroccan regime. The Moroccan regime had already played mind games before the final was even played to make sure Morocco would win this game and make sure Senegal would lose this game. This is how the Senegalese players arrived, I think by train. And as you can see, this is not the way a team that has reached the final should be arriving. This is all mental warfare before the game. Because Morocco knew when this AFCON started, with all of the money that they invested, building all the stadiums and doing everything they did, and they haven't won the AFCON, I think, for 60 years. They wanted to make sure to win this AFCON. They're probably the best team in Africa. With them reaching, the World Cup first place not too long time ago, they wanted to make sure they didn't lose it. But now let's go in to the final, obviously. This is the first critical decision that happened in the game. Senegal score, 90th minute of the game. AFCON final. They score in the final. Cross comes in, as you can see right here. As you can see, we got to take a look at here. Hakimi and number 4 for Senegal. Both of them entangled, hands with each other. That happens at corner kicks. And you can see that Hakimi just falls out. He just falls. Do we see a push? Hakimi is a grown-ass man. And one thing I can tell you for certain is that no grown-ass man falls from that. You see Hakimi just falls down. The defender wins the header, hits the post, and then a Senegalese player scores it. But as you can see, the referee, let's take a look at when he blows his whistle. He blows it right here. He blew the whistle before the goal was scored, which means that this decision could not be taken into VAR. If the referee had waited with his whistle, this decision would have gone to VAR. And then he would have been able to make the decision whether this is a penalty or not. And I'm just saying this video is going to get much darker the more we continue. It's absolutely disgusting. So the referee basically gave zero possibility for this chance to be overturned because he'd already blown the whistle. There is clear contact between Hakimi and number 4 from Senegal. But is there a foul? Absolutely no. This is a final in AFCON. Senegal just scored in the 90th minute. And the referee gives one of the softest fouls I've seen to Ashraf Hakimi. There's even this VAR Twitter account, scandalous refereeing in the Africa Cup final between Senegal and Morocco. Hakimi tries to stop 6 random falls in the duel with his opponent. Not a foul. The VAR could have reviewed the incident because Ndala Ngambu didn't allow the play to finish. And now we obviously go to the penalty that Morocco received. This is the penalty that Morocco received. Let's take a look at it. You can see Brahim Diaz, number 10 for Morocco. Number 25 is right behind him with his left hand over him. Maybe his right is on Brahim Diaz's chest. Not even a kid would fall down like this. Even a kid. That has to be one of the biggest dives I've seen. So Hakimi, massive soft foul. The referee didn't give the goal to Senegal and blew the whistle before it was even being able to go to VAR. Then the same thing happened in the other box, and it gives a penalty to Morocco for one of the softest challenges. And you have to understand, this is right after, in the 90+6 minute, right after he canceled the Senegal goal, he goes away and gives this penalty to Morocco, which is absolutely disgusting. And we can talk a little bit about the referee, because it's not just about this referee. The referees in the entire AFCON, whether it be in Morocco games or in other games, have been clearly bribed, and we'll come into the information soon, by the Moroccan regime and the Vice President of Africa Cup of Nations, Lechlage, something like that. He's clearly been bribed in favoring the host, Morocco. We obviously know that teams usually get a little bit of favor when they're hosts, but I've never seen a football tournament and a football national team or a football club be as favored. It was clear bribery from the Moroccan regime for the referee that refereed this game. Then obviously some very weird stuff happened. Brahim Diaz missing the penalty on purpose. Brahim Diaz knew it was not a penalty, and he understood the situation. He understood the scandal. I've seen a lot of people say, well, why would he miss? Are you guys so stupid? What are you guys overreacting about? We're not overreacting. And I think most people that said, well, no, Brahim didn't miss this penalty, is people that haven't been following AFCON so far this season. AFCON has had so many controversial decisions going Morocco's way that it made complete sense that Brahim Diaz went for fair play. And I'm asking you a couple of questions while we're going to watch this video right here, where Brahim Diaz misses the penalty. First of all, he goes for a chip. Already weird. 106th minute. Second of all, you can see Brahim Diaz's reaction. If you would miss a penalty in the 106th minute, when your country hasn't won AFCON for 60 years, your reaction would be absolutely devastating. You'd be crying, you'd be screaming, you wouldn't be able to understand it. And then take a look at the Senegalese player's reaction. If your team was close to losing a final, look at this dude, for example. Is this how you were? Yeah, this dude celebrated a little bit. The goalkeeper celebrated a little bit. The Moroccan players weren't that angry. The Senegalese players weren't that happy. So it was quite clear that it was fair play, because it was so blatant corruption that Brahim Diaz, whether it was his own decision or the Moroccan team's decision, to say, you know what, we have rigged and corrupted this AFCON way too much. Please just miss it on purpose and we'll win it in extra time. That seems to have been the deal that was made, because it was so blatantly corrupt. And I think that's about it. When it comes to the AFCON final, this also happened during the game. And this was a tradition by the Moroccan ball boys. They were taking, as you can see, this is a Senegalese player defending the towel of the goalkeeper. This was some strange tactic by the Moroccan ball getters, taking away the goalkeeper's towel for some reason. And they've done this multiple times before. And as you will see soon, it wasn't just the ball boys that were doing this. Morocco had bribed all the referees. Morocco had committed an insane amount of corruption in this tournament. And they were even doing dirty stuff, like the mental tactics ahead of the final towards the Senegalese national team, and taking the towel of the goalkeepers, which is extreme, disgusting behavior. Now we'll come to the corruption in the tournament. First of all of these decisions right here. This is one decision right here. This was Morocco versus Mali. I think this game ended 1-1. You can see Amrabat doesn't get the ball, and it's a clear penalty. There was no VAR decision for this game. That was one game. Let's go to another one. This was Morocco versus Tanzania. And as you can see, the Moroccan defender, number 25, is clear away from the ball. He's not touching the ball. And it's a clear push. Let's take a look at it again. It's a clear push. It's a massively clear push. Oh my days. It's a massively clear push by the Moroccan defender. Nothing happened there. And Buemo gets tackled right in the box. No penalty. Brahim Diaz right here. Penalty. So this was not just in the final. This was the entire tournament. Morocco had corrupted the entire tournament to go their way. So I wasn't really surprised when we saw what happened in the final. The Human Rights Watch. Moroccan authorities use a whole playbook of repressive tactics to silence and intimidate critics, a new Human Rights Watch report finds. This is not some average Twitter account. This is the Human Rights Watch, exposing human rights abuses around the world. And they say that Moroccan authorities, the Moroccan regime, use a whole playbook of repressive tactics to silence and intimidate critics. From Roman Molina, accuses Lachja of engaging in blackmail and threats within the CAF, as well as blocking Algiers' influence in African football. Engaging in blackmail and threats within the African Cup of Nations. And you have to remember, he is the Vice President of the Africa Cup of Nations. And I mentioned the towel thing. Well, that was not the first time it happened. This was in the semi-final versus Nigeria, and as you can clearly see, the ball boys took the towel of the Nigerian goalkeeper twice. We continue. These were the awards for the women AFCON thingy. And you would guess Morocco had won the women's AFCON. Well, no. It was Nigeria that won women's AFCON versus Morocco in the final. But all of the awards, basically, apart from the best goalkeeper, went to the Moroccan players. CAF, African Cup of Nations, suspends Cameroon FA President Samuel Eto'o for 4 games and fines him $20,000 after he questioned the referees officiating in the AFCON quarterfinal. This is called silencing at the highest level, and soon we will see when silencing goes to a disgusting level. This was the referee in the Algeria-Nigeria game. And I'm not putting this here because I'm Algerian. And we lost that. Well, we lost that game fair and square. The referee could have been part of it. Doesn't matter. I still think on that day we would have lost maybe. But you have to understand one thing. I think in maybe 6 up to 8, 10 games, the referees were changed the day before into someone that suited the Moroccan regime and would help them with the result that they wanted. Morocco didn't want Algeria to be playing them in the semi-final, which is quite obvious. It would have been a political disaster. It would have potentially started a war between the two nations. And now, FIFA are inquiring into the referee. We continue. From Roman Molina once again. Behind the scenes, political ties, lobbying, business secrets through a Tunisian fair organization company for African Cup of Nations that lost its independence. Keep the faith. CAF President Motres said this is the best con ever. Massive question mark. Senegal briefly walked off the pitch in the final due to the officiating. Eto'o was fined $20,000 and suspended for 4 games for a gesture questioning the referees calling Morocco-Cameroon's game. Nigeria fans lamented the referees officiating in the semi-finals. Algerian delegation confronted the referee in their game against Nigeria. Egyptian players made gestures accusing the referee of bias in their semi-final against Senegal. It's quite clear and obvious that massive corruption happened in this World Cup, in this AFCON, that massively biasly helped out the host nation, Morocco. And we've already seen the reports about the bribing. We have even more reports. According to the Tunisian media outlet Intifada, Morocco and Lachja weighed in on the election of the current president of the Tunisian Football Federation in order to isolate Algeria within the CAF. In exchange, the FTF was to receive financial aid. This is massive corruption at the highest degree and level from the vice president of AFCON, Lachja. And now we come to the most disgusting part of silencing the critiquers. And Audrey Ibon Njo, a Cameroonian journalist who went to support Cameroon at the AFCON, and Mohamed Soumare, a Malian journalist, were found lifeless within a 48-hour period in their hotel rooms in Morocco. And both of these journalists were massively vocal against the corruption by the Moroccan regime at this AFCON. Even some WhatsApp messages. I spoke with him for 2 minutes on WhatsApp and he informed me that the Moroccan security services had asked him not to mention the subject of bad refereeing, the CAF, nor that of Fawzi Lachja. And a few hours, days later, he was found dead in his hotel room. And because no clear evidence has been posted, I'm still gonna say allegedly. But when you take a look at all the patterns, it's quite obvious what happened. It was people being silenced, and here's a video of him. The last statement by Malian journalist Mohamed Soumare before his mysterious death, in which he criticizing the refereeing during the AFCON 2025, mentioning that Morocco, were rigging and corrupting the entire AFCON tournament. And let me ask you, is it not suspicious? Because we've never seen this before. No World Cup, no AFCON, no Euros, no Asian tournaments where 2 journalists have been found dead in their hotel rooms. And guess what the reports say? The cameras outside of the hotel rooms were mysteriously turned off when this action happened. For Mohamed Soumare and Audrey Ibonjo. And we haven't seen this in any mainstream media. This has been quietly put under the rug. Because they were criticizing the corruption at the tournament. You can make the links for yourself because I don't have to make them. I also showed you the, with the towels. Fortunately, as I'm a Paris Saint-Germain supporter, that's Achraf Hakimi taking away the Senegalese goalkeeper's towel and throwing it. I mean, this is disgusting at the highest level. This is corruption at the highest level. These small, dirty tactics to infuriate the opposition. Here we have another video. Saibari, Moroccan player. I have no clue what he is doing. Thinks he's cool or something. And look at that. The Malian substitute has to hold onto the towel so that Saibari, a professional Moroccan player, does not take the towel away. And here's some other videos where they tackled. Here's some other videos where they were tackling that Senegalese player to try to take away the towel from him. Especially because it was raining, the goalkeeper definitely has to, towel away the rain and water coming down his face. But this is the massive corruption we're against. A massive disgustingness. Imagine having a substitute player having to defend your towel in an AFCON game. AFCON Final, may I add. And now we come to the most disgusting part of this video. Why I titled and called it Morocco the Israel of Africa. Because the corruption goes much deeper. Morocco in 1984 left the African Union and came back in 2017. You may ask why. Political reasons. Morocco left the Organization of African Unity in 1984 due to its dispute over Western Sahara, being admitted as a member, but it rejoined in 2017 after a 33-year absence. And this was majorly for Western Sahara. Majority of the African nations supported that Western Sahara was not a colony of Morocco, and it was its own nation. And I'm not saying this is an Algerian. I'm saying this is an African. And Morocco, the disgusting, filthy nation that they are, talking about the regime, talking about their king, left the African Union because they didn't get what they wanted. Imagine another nation doing that. This is them basically putting themselves about Africa. The African Union is supposed to come to conclusions together. But Morocco didn't like that conclusion. And 3 years later, they tried to join the European Union, which they rejected because Morocco is not a European country. So we can quite clearly see here that Morocco, the nose is up here. The arrogance has never been bigger. They do not consider themselves to be an African nation. They consider themselves to be better. A very, very racist mindset. Leaving the African Union and trying to join the European Union. No African team, no African nation has ever left the African Union, and no African nation has tried to join the European Union. But now we come into the most disgusting stuff, which obviously has to do with Israel. Israel officially recognized Moroccan sovereignty over Western Sahara on July 2017, 2023. A move communicated by Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in former letter to King Mohammed VI. This decision made Israel the second country following the United States to acknowledge Morocco's claim over disputed territory. So only 2 nations have said that this is part of Morocco, and that is the United States and Israel. maybe you can see a clear link, because I see it. And that obviously also led to, yes, Morocco secured a significant diplomatic victory at the UN in late 2025 when the Security Council passed Resolution 2797, endorsing its autonomy plan for Western Sahara as the most feasible solution. My question to you is now, who do you think runs the UN? It's actually so funny how Israel and the Jews control the world. And if you pair up with them and team up with them, they will help you with all the problems that you want. The Moroccan military has also done multiple military exercises with the IDF, the same military that is committing genocide in Palestine and killing children, women, men on a daily basis, putting them in tents, destroying the houses, destroying the schools, destroying everything there is. The Moroccan military is cooperating with the IDF, which is absolutely disgusting. But the Moroccan public opinion is not part of that. And that's why I want to distance the Moroccan Zionistic regime from the Moroccan people. 64% at least are completely against, which is 2/3 of Morocco. They're completely against the ties that Morocco has with Israel, mostly because of what's going on currently in the genocide in Palestine. And the Moroccan regime, this is what they do to the protesters. Here you can see a police van clearly. I mean, I can't even look at this. I can't even look at this. Here we have another one. If you thought that was just one video, here we have another one. And this is even more brutal. Ramming them into the wall. And then going away like nothing happened. And these are the constant protests from the Moroccan people. Being against the corruption from the regime. And being, against everything they've done. So, now we've gone through this entire video. It's been multiple despicable stuff the Moroccan regime has done. Massive corruption in the AFCON Final, blatant for everyone watching. Blatant corruption throughout the entire tournament, blatant for everyone watching and following. Blatant silencing of the critiques of the massive corruption. Massive bribery, which even the human rights have proven. And obviously there's strong ties to Israel, which led to the UN resolution. Them leaving the African Union and wanting to join the European Union. And this is why I call Morocco the Israel of Africa. And as I said, their people, majority of them, are against the Moroccan regime and the horrific crimes they've been committing, including having strong ties with the nation that is genociding our brothers and sisters in Palestine. And this is why I call Morocco the Israel of Africa. Because if you look at Israel and you look at Morocco, they are basically the same nation operating on a similar level. And again, I'm talking strictly here about the regime. Mohammed Sadis and the amount of bribery from Lakhlaj in the African Cup of Nations has proven to me as an Algerian and as an African that Morocco has no part in Africa and should not be in the African Union anymore and should not be respected by us Africans, because they have sold their soul in 2021 and even previously committed horrific crimes, cooperating with a regime that commits horrific crimes. And as they say, who you cooperate with, you become like. And that's why Morocco, due to its regime, has steadily become the Israel of Africa, robbing everything, disgusting everything, and doing absolutely nothing in a fair way. And I think everyone, Africans and everyone else, should be aware of this news because it's absolutely disgusting what the Zionistic regime of Morocco has been doing and will continue to do. This is not just about football anymore, unfortunately. Politics is part of football, and everyone has to be aware of it. That's been it from my boy PS Gent. Hopefully, guys have enjoyed this massively dark video. But this needed to be exposed. And this needed to be discussed. Because there's barely been anyone talking about all of this disgustingness by the filthy, Zionistic Moroccan regime. That has been it from your boy PSG, and hopefully guys have enjoyed this video. And as usual, allez, allez, allez Paris.